You have probably seen LangChain in job posts and other people's repos, in half the AI tutorials you have clicked on, and you still do not have a straight answer for what it does. So in this video, we will settle it. What LangChain actually is, where it sits in your application, and at the end, the part people argue about most, when you should skip it. So let's make it concrete right away. Say your support team wants an assistant that can answer customer questions. You wire it up to a model, and you ask it three things. What is our refund window? It does not know. That lives in your internal docs, and the model has never seen them. Where is order 4417? It cannot look. It has no way to reach your systems. And what about the one before that? It has already forgotten you asked anything at all. 3 failures and 1 cause underneath all of them. The model is sealed. It predicts text extremely well, and it reaches nothing outside itself. Your documents, your systems, and everything said 30 seconds ago all sit on the other side of that wall. LangChain is the wiring that crosses it. So what is it actually? You will hear it called a model, and you will hear it called a chatbot builder. Believe either one, and you will design the wrong thing. And there is a fair objection here that I hear all the time. Isn't this just a wrapper around an API call? Honestly, for about 10 minutes it is. And if that is all you need, then that is all it is. LangChain is an open source framework for building applications on top of language models. It sits between your application and the model. Your app talks to LangChain, LangChain talks to whichever model you picked, and everything else in this video lives in that gap. Start with the model itself. Every provider ships their own SDK. OpenAI has one shape for a message, Anthropic has another, and something running locally on your own machine has a third. Whichever one you write against first is the one your code is now married to. And the differences are shallow. Different method names, different message shapes, the same idea underneath, but shallow differences are still everywhere. Every call site, every test, every place you touch a response, LangChain puts one interface in front of all of them. So moving from OpenAI to Anthropic to a model on your own machine changes one object at the top of your file. Your application code never learns which provider it is talking to. One call is easy. Real features are never one call. For our support assistant, a single answer means filling a template with the customer's question, sending that to the model, and turning the reply into JSON your front end can actually render. 3 steps. And if you write them by hand, you also write the glue between each pair, and then you write it again for the next feature. So in LangChain, the pieces snap together, a prompt template, the model, an output parser, pipe them, and you have a chain, which is one object you call once. And because every piece speaks that same interface from a minute ago, the whole chain streams, batches, and retries without you writing any of that yourself. Now, the hard part, your own data. Our assistant still cannot answer what is our refund window because that lives in your internal docs and the model has never read them. And a model with no source will not tell you it has no source. It will guess confidently at your customers. So the obvious move is to paste the docs into the prompt. That works right up until your documents are larger than the context window, which is roughly immediately. Nobody has a refund policy sitting alone in a file. So instead you load the documents, split them into chunks, and turn each chunk into an embedding, which is a list of numbers that carries its meaning. Similar meaning, nearby numbers. Those go into a vector store. Then when the question arrives, it becomes numbers 2. The store hands back the nearest chunks, and LangChain slides them into the prompt as context before the model ever sees it. That whole loop is retrieval augmented generation. Your assistant stops guessing and starts answering out of your documents with sources attached. Our assistant can read now. It still cannot do anything. Whereas order 4417 needs a live lookup against your order system, and no amount of retrieval will answer it because that number changes while the customer is typing. And this is where people get nervous, reasonably. Letting a model run code against production sounds like a terrible idea, so it does not run anything. A tool is a function plus a description of what it does. The model reads the descriptions and writes back a request. Call this one with these arguments. That request is just text. Your application picks it up and makes the call. The model asks, and your code decides and executes. Then the result goes back into the conversation, the model looks at everything again, and it picks another tool or an answer. Search, read, compare, respond. That loop is what people mean when they say agent. One failure left from the 3 we started with. The customer asks where order 4417 is, gets an answer, and then asks, and what about the one before that? On its own, that sentence means nothing. There is no one before that anywhere in it. So LangChain carries the state between turns. The earlier messages travel with the new one, the reference resolves, and the conversation behaves like a conversation instead of a queue of strangers. So far, this is a list of parts. Let's watch one question move through all of them. A customer writes in, my last order was late. What is your refund window and where's the replacement? That is 3 of our failures in a single sentence. Retrieval pulls the refund policy out of your docs. A tool call fetches the live status of the replacement. The state from earlier in the conversation is what tells it which order the replacement refers to. All of it goes into one prompt, and the model writes one answer, grounded and cited. 4 mechanisms, 1 question, and no glue code that you wrote yourself. Before we finish, the honest part, LangChain is not always worth it, and plenty of people will tell you it is overhead. They're sometimes right. If you are making one call to one provider and rendering the reply, and that is the whole feature, a framework buys you nothing. Call the API. You will ship sooner, and you will have less to maintain. It starts paying for itself the moment you need 2 of these at once. Retrieval and tools in memory. Any of it, plus the freedom to change providers without a rewrite. One of these you can hand roll in an afternoon. 4 of them talking to each other is a framework, whether you install one or write one yourself. So here's the one-liner for the next time someone asks. A language model predicts text. LangChain is the layer that turns predicted text into software that can look things up, take actions, and remember what happened. Pick one small thing, one document your team keeps answering the same question about, wire it up. That is the whole leap. Now, one thing I skipped. Back when the model was choosing between another tool and an answer, that decision was just a loop going round, which is fine for a support assistant. But the moment that loop has to stop and wait for a human to approve something, or branch 3 ways, or pick up exactly where it died 2 hours ago, a plain loop stops being enough. And what you reach for instead has a confusingly similar name. So that is next, LangGraph explained. You will know exactly what a graph gives you that a chain cannot, and where the line between the 2 actually sits, so you can tell which one your project needs before you have built the wrong one.